It's nice they've got the, oh, hello, 28, 29, 29. Skills of Michael Flatley. Woo, woo. Then it is, oh, that stinks. Ah, cow poo. I think I felt that in my throat. This is the Onesport OT-05, a very pretty looking drop frame commuter city bike with a bit of storage, bit of suspension, and one of the smoothest motors you're ever going to get on an e-bike for under £1,000. This is the Onesport OT-05, which is an interesting e-bike. It feels really slick. That's my first impression of it. Like the way the motor sounds, it sounds really refined. Let's see if we can hear it. It's got a throttle, removable throttle. We hear it. It's classed as a 250 watt e-bike, limited to 15.5, comes without a throttle installed. So in that configuration, obviously is UK, EU legal, but it feels so good. And this like drop frame with a nice pearly white, it's giving those Apple vibes again. Although I'm sure if Apple made an e-bike, they'd have a better bell than this. Now the screen, that's very Apple-y in a non-Apple way, because obviously it's standard LED, there's no video on it or anything like that. But it's a very nice screen. And although it's quite a dull day today, I can tell that it would be pretty good in the sun as well, proper sun. I can also tell that this bike, if it wasn't being neutered, it would be willing to go much faster than 15. It's got very squishy front suspension that isn't bottoming me out. It feels quite nice actually, but squidgy front suspension is not conducive to going fast because you bounce up and down when you try and do it. Luckily it can get locked out. It's got lockable suspension and the preload that I can't tell does anything. Can anyone tell? Anyone who's got an e-bike with preload, that dial, let us know in the comments if you can tell the difference, because I can't. It's meant to shorten it, like, so you don't go as far. Big wheels, bigger wheels than I usually get, 27.5 inch diameter wheels, 2.25 inches wide. So not a fat tire e-bike. The battery, 36 volts, so you know, pretty small in terms of voltage, but a decent amp hour capacity, 18.2, which gives a watt hour capacity. Oh, and this does feel good for the bumpy bits on this road. It's a really bad road, this is. But yeah, that front suspension is nice and squidgy. Anyway, 655 watt hours, which is pretty decent, especially considering the bike does limit you to 15.5. Yeah, some bumps coming up here. Yeah, it's really, really good. No rear suspension though, so I can feel that. But through the front, can't feel anything. 3, 2, 1, go. So here we go. 7 miles an hour, going up, 8, 9. So will it be able to match the last Onesport bike and surprise everyone and actually get up the hill? It doesn't feel like it's going to get up, to be honest. We're slowing down now. 8, 7. No, this isn't going to be as strong as the other one. 5. I've said before that when I get to 3 miles an hour, I'm going to... 4. Oh, the car's really slowing down. Are they a learner? Yeah, okay. Grip box. So, then I'm going to pedal. Oh, they wanted to pull left, that's why. Oh, they're struggling. Well, yeah, right now, pedaling up the sandy lane. So although it couldn't get up on its own speed, when it's helping you, it does make things a lot easier. And whether you can unlock this bike or not, it will not affect the hill climb because it never got over 15 miles an hour. So, despite how refined the motor feels, it wasn't strong enough to get up the mountain. Let's just stop the bike, see how long it takes to kick in. So, sooner the better really, although too soon you can get a bit dangerous. Go. Okay, about 3/4 of a rotation, that's nice. Now this bike also has an app. You can probably tell there's a screen protector on the screen. It's got a QR code. You scan that and it'll take you directly to the App Store or Play Store place to get it. I'm actually going to lock the suspension now because it is really scudgy, which is fine if you just oh, there, okay, I've actually broken it somehow. That's annoying. Yeah, I saw a blue thing on the floor earlier when I was putting this bike together and I had no idea what it was. Now I know. Right, let's get to 7th gear. It was skipping a bit before. Shimano Tawny standard gears, 7-speed, nothing special there. Right, let's put a bit of effort in, not too much. Let's see, 22, 23, bouncing around, 27, well it's 26 actually, 28, 29, 29, 30, that'll do. Feel the burn on this bike. Despite the fact we got to that, I can tell it's just not a bike you'd be riding around fast everywhere. It seems to want to cruise at around 16 to 18 with your help, and obviously if you're not putting any effort in, then it's going to pretty much stick at 16 or 15.5. It's got a few nice things on this bike, to be fair. Like the screen is really nice. It's got a phone charger right there. A lot of them have that, to be fair. It's also got hydraulic brakes. So let's test them out. Down behind us, 15.5. This telegraph pole. There we go. I mean, it's right there. What, more than half meters away? It's just not a challenge at that speed, even though it's mildly moist. And the great thing about hydraulic brakes is they do not take any effort at all to use them. It's just a little boink. Like, as soon as I did that, I'm not even trying. Like, someone left a comment the other day saying if you can't squeeze brakes, then you shouldn't be riding. I mean, pretty sure I was talking about mechanical disc brakes, which, if you want to get the full braking power on mechanical disc brakes, then you've got to pull hard because you're technically pulling the cable that then pulls the brakes. Whereas with the hydraulic brakes, you're pushing through fluid through the brake hoses, which activates the brake. And the way they work, you barely have to put any effort in. So if you do struggle with mechanical disc brakes, then hydraulic disc brakes are your answer. And these are no different. These feel really good. I think though, overall, it just feels like a decent, well put together, nice looking drop frame bike, because it's obviously like drop frame means if you do struggle to get your leg over, then you don't have to on this, do you? Jump in, jump out. And it cruises at a 15 to 16 really well. But then if you want to get a bit of exercise and push it up to 20-ish, then it is, oh god, that stinks. Ah, cow poo. I think I felt that in my throat. And then it is more than capable. Well, now we're going down a slight hill, running at 24 miles an hour, but we'll find out what that range is soon, because they reckon from that battery the range would be about 120 kilometers, which is quite a long way. But then this bike does have a rather large battery in general for a 36 volt bike. 18.2 amp hours is a decent amount. Of course, to get the true capacity, you have to multiply that by the voltage, which is where we get the 655.2, don't forget that, watt hours, which is kind of like an average capacity. You can remove the battery. You do not need the key to run the bike. So if you do lock it up with the battery in there, someone can just turn it on and start revving your wheels and looking through your computer and stuff like that. Luckily, it doesn't take ages to remove the battery. It pops out the bottom. So shove the key in, quick turn, and it pops it open like. Have I got to do this catch first? There's a little catch. Oh, there we go. Turn the catch and then turn that. And then it pops out like this. Now it can be a bit fiddly getting it in because you've got to pop the bottom in. And once the bottom's in, then you can pop it in. If it doesn't go straight in, you need to mess around with the catch and stuff like that. But it's in now. But 120, I think that sounds about right, to be honest. We're still on 5 bars. We're still only 4 miles in, probably 4.5. Let's just take a little break though, see how the bike came and what was in the box. The bike came in a box and it all seemed well protected. I'm pretty sure it was me that somehow broke the front suspension lock. I felt like there was a lot to do to put this bike together. I had to put the saddle in, the handlebars, the pedals on, front wheel, which is quick release, rear mudguard, rear rack, front mudguard, front light, reflectors, and of course the optional throttle. To put the throttle on, you need to take this off, which is on pretty tight. I had to kind of put my knee there, grab it with 2 hands, and then just keep pulling it. Slide on the throttle. Because the length of the throttle and the handle is longer, you need to loosen these. Careful with this one because it's a Phillips screw underneath, very easy to de-head. So I would recommend you use a flathead screwdriver. Don't forget your little plastic trim so the throttle doesn't rub on this. Shove that on, bring things back, locate that, take the lid off and plug it in. This is the rear rack and it's got little rubber things on the end to protect it. Thank you very much. Only problem is they're really stuck on and using tools to get it off actually helps ruin the rack. So yeah, thanks for that. Now let's take a look at how heavy the bike is. Oh, not the lightest of bikes. So who's buying this bike then? Obviously being step through, it does mean it's ideal for someone who doesn't want to put their leg over the back of a bike. That doesn't mean it's only for those people though. Some people just like the convenience of being able to just jump on a bike without having to do that for whatever reason. So if that's the kind of thing you want, then it's good for that. Now Onesport's other bike is a step through, but it's foldable. It's not as refined as this. It's not quite as nice as this, but it did make it up Sandy Lane and this one didn't. So if you need a foldable bike, then their other bike would be a better bet. And they're both decent price. This one's under $1,000. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. So yeah, if you don't need a folding bike, then this is a decent offering from Onesport. It is a bit more expensive though than their OT-16 2, but it feels more expensive as well. It's got a quick release front wheel, quick release saddle. Handlebars don't go up, so let's take a look at size wise who could fit on this bike. I reckon someone who's about 5'3" or 4" could ride this. And there's the max. Now a 27.5 inch wheel bike, you'd expect it to go quite high really. Whoa, it definitely does actually. I can't reach, well maybe I could. Come on, I can do this, I can do this. Oh, hang on, no. Summon the skills of Michael Flatley. Woo, woo. 6'6". Yeah, if you were 6'6", I reckon you'd be all right on this. We've just done 10 miles and you can see that we're still on 5 bars, so that's good.
Weirdly, because I was mainly using the throttle, it took me a long time to realise the bike actually has a torque sensor. I somehow missed it in the specs. What a torque sensor does is it delivers more power when it feels you push against the pedals, as opposed to a cadence sensor which delivers power when it senses rotation of the pedals. Torque sensors are nice when you have no throttle because they kick in faster when you, for example, want to set off at the lights from a standstill. However, when locked to 15.5, it was a bit jarring on this bike when the power continually cut in and cut out. Torque sensors feel like an extension of you when pedaling, but when you get over 15.5, the power is taken away and you feel weak again. It's hard to pedal this bike much over 16 miles per hour if you want to, and it's not a nice sensation when pedaling. On the throttle, it will happily sit at 15.5, and if that is enough for you, then that's great. If you want to put little effort into your pedaling, then you'll most likely be going about 12 miles per hour. Luckily, the bike can actually be unlocked to go a bit faster. Not much faster, but getting towards 20 miles per hour. This helps a lot because although the bike isn't now super fast, it does stop it constantly cutting out and the riding will feel a lot more natural.
I would say this bike would have been a lot better served with a cadence sensor and not a torque sensor. Plus, cadence sensors are cheaper and it would have made the bike cheaper as well. So if you are using the throttle, then this is a really nice bike to cruise at 15.5. If you're not using the throttle, I'm not a big fan of it. It's nice they've got the hello front light. I nearly died there. I saw him coming. I just thought, no, I'm just going to keep going. Maybe I mean, that's stupid because who would come off worse? Me, obviously. But I was fairly confident that either I would move out of the way or they would brake. Fairly confident. This is really ideal for commuting without public transport involved. So if you were just going to work, A to B, or obviously you could use this for recreation as well, but if you were going to work, this is a nice, comfortable ride. It's got your rear rack, so if you need to carry extra stuff, you can. Front and rear mudguards, made of metal, and they, again, feel solid and they don't seem to creak like many others do, especially when they're made of metal. Got nice hydraulic disc brakes and a nice refined motor, which means basically it's going to be a nice relaxing ride to work. And if that's the kind of thing you're after, then I think at this price as well, and hopefully there'll be like some sort of discount code, if we can get this towards like 900 or something, then I think this is a really good buy. But of course there's always other options and our channel has plenty of them. So this has been the Onesport OT05, nice city commuting cruiser. And if you're interested in that, there'll be a link in the description. If you do use that link, it will help the channel, so thank you if you do. Well, if you enjoyed that video, do give us a thumbs up please, because it helps a lot. However, if you didn't enjoy it or you just weren't feeling it, give us a thumbs down. And until next time, thanks for getting all the way to the end. Ride safe.